Our presenter today is Ashley Drummond, and Ashley is the CEO of Saskatchewan's award-winning social media marketing team, Wow Factor Media. Ashley's career at Wow Factor Media has given her valuable online marketing experience in working with a diverse range of community leaders and business owners throughout Western Canada, including businesses, organizations, nonprofits, and government entities. Ashley also serves on the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and is dedicated to sharing her skills to support and elevate women in business in Saskatchewan by providing mentorship for business women through the Scotiabank's Women's Initiative and through the Women Entrepreneur Saskatchewan West All Access Expert Advice Program. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. All right, so just before we get started, you have been emailed some worksheets from Nicholas. So you'll expect those in your inbox. You won't be using them right now necessarily during this training session because we only have an hour. But what it's meant for is for once you guys go through the steps in this training, you can also apply it to your real jobs and your real lives by going through the worksheets on your own time. And the best part is you can grab the recording and train along as well with the worksheets as well, and pause and start as needed because everybody kind of learns at their own pace. So I will share my screen and get started. You can hear me, see me, we're all good? Okay. All right, so let me just share here. Okay, and then into presenter mode. Okay, so you can see my screen? Yeah. Awesome, thanks, Nick. Okay, so here we go. This is workshop 2 of 2 workshops that we created for Tourism Saskatchewan. This one's managing social media with limited resources. All right, so thank you very much for the intro, Nick. Our company is Wow Factor Media, and essentially we support Canadian organizations and businesses with professional and strategic social media marketing. That's our main service here. A little bit more about me. I've proudly helped create hundreds of successful social media marketing campaigns, and I work with brands throughout Western Canada. I also do a lot of training. I think probably trained thousands over the last 3 years. And I just have a passion for helping elevate brands and helping you see the potential of social media marketing because it is the best form of marketing in the world. All right, so a little bit about our training style, and this is all by design. It's meant to feel simple. Number one, I am a firm believer that the best designs in the world feel simple for a reason. It's meant to be practical, relevant, actionable, and time-saving. I know that every single person here has something else they could be doing right now. So first, I want to thank you guys for being here because time is something that is very precious to all of us as busy business people. And yeah, you're choosing to spend your time in a very valuable place right now. And by applying all the best practices and things you learned through this session, you're also optimizing your time, which is very, very important for, our own mental health and our success with our positions. All right, so training session outline, what we're going to cover here. So we're going to go through 6 key highlights, intro to social media marketing, your monthly planning checklist, your weekly planning checklist. So the checklist, as mentioned, I talked about everything is going to be actionable and it's going to be easy to follow. So you're going to get everything in step-by-step format so that you can go back to your desk after this and really have a clear direction on how you're going to achieve success on social media with limited resources. And on that note, I just wanted to say bravo to everybody for being here, but also for enhancing Saskatchewan's tourism sector because it's super important. And I just love to see seeing all your names and where you're from and what you do in your chats was so inspiring because I've heard of many of your locations and many of your tourist attractions. And I know that in order to make these go and make them successful, you guys are putting a lot of effort in, and it enhances the whole economy in our entire province. So good on all of you guys for what you're doing. Then we're gonna go to design and copy basics and your daily planning checklist, and then we're gonna end with a Q&A. You can, so Nick mentioned like just pop questions into the chat. I might miss them because I don't see them as I'm presenting, but what we can do, what we'll do is like look at them all probably at the end of the session, unless Nick, you see them, you can interrupt me at any time. Yeah, this training is meant to be super flexible and also so that you guys get the most possible out of it. That's what I'm here. All right. So let's talk about the intro to social media. So 2024, what does it look like? And what first step is to determine your hero platform. So before we go into this section, the thing that I want to emphasize is I always get asked like, where should I like, should I be on X? Should I be on Instagram? Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on Facebook? Is Facebook dead? That's like such a big question I get asked. And people are wondering like, where do I reach my audiences? And it's a great question to ask because there are hundreds, you might be surprised to know there's hundreds of social media marketing platforms out there right now. And we obviously don't have time to spend on every single one of them. And it wouldn't be smart to do that either. So what we need to do is we need to focus on the top ones that are focus on the top platforms that our customers are using. So it's not about the ones that we prefer using. So we have to remember that. That's the number one thing to remember. It's the ones where our customers are spending most of their time and engaging with brands. All right. So, and the whole reason for this is, if I haven't said enough, our time is limited in today's business world. We have to prioritize. And the best part about social media is it's so efficient. You know, we just need to focus on the right things and we'll get more out of it than trying to spread ourselves too thin. It's just like any thing we try to do in life. We've got to just focus on efficiencies. So the whole point of this section is we will be more successful by focusing our time and efforts on the social media platform that are most effective for our brand. So just simple, let's focus on where it counts and resist the urge to be like, well, if I do 4 of them, I'm not missing any opportunities, because we all have that like element of FOMO, right? It's like, well, if I don't focus on X, what if there's somebody there waiting to use my services and I miss the boat on that? This is designed to help you switch your way of thinking and focus on the ones that are most effective so that you can get the more out of your time and success. All right, so let's talk about the platforms. Since we need to focus on and prioritize the most efficient platforms for Saskatchewan businesses, the number one hero platform is actually Facebook. So a lot of people go to these webinars, these social media marketing webinars that are maybe national or international. And the cool thing to say is that Facebook's for old people, or people aren't using Facebook anymore. And I'm here to tell you that's absolutely not true. And everything we do at Wow Factor Media is based on data. Okay. So it's not just me like looking around Facebook and saying like, oh no, like, look, we have lots of engagement and I'm pretty sure my friends are on there, so people are using it. That's not it at all. We are watching the data and the analytics of our customers, and these are audiences in the tens of millions, and we're watching their habits. And Facebook is the number one platform in Saskatchewan. Now, that means for most businesses, Facebook is your hero platform, meaning the one that you want to put most of your efforts in, because it's the one you're going to get more out of, because it's where your audiences are spending most of their time. So Facebook in general, like anybody who is a millennial or older, that's their number one platform. They go to digest content from brands. They go for to visit their friends, all these different things. And then the second one that is a close second to Facebook, but if you have a younger audience and if your brand is highly visual, is Instagram. So in the tourism sector, this one, there might be some of you where Instagram is number one, because you guys have most of you probably have such amazing visuals. So that's just a side note. But the way that you're going to kind of determine this is by watching the analytics of both. So I 100% recommend that every single brand here uses Facebook and Instagram. And where the hero platform comes in is what you're creating content for first, and which one you're focusing most of your energy on. Because there's best practices for Facebook that are different for Instagram. And mostly it's Instagram that is very, very discerning. So Instagram is 100% visuals first, and it's minimal like marketing, like calls to action. So book your tourism, book today at www.touristattraction.com, or call us today to get directions out to our tourist attraction. Those kind of things don't really fly on Instagram. It's more, here's what we have to offer, check out this beautiful visual, and then the customer decides. So if Instagram is your hero platform, all we're saying is visuals first, minimal calls to action, and then you can cross post onto Facebook because Instagram is your hero. But if Facebook is your hero, which it is for most Saskatchewan businesses, based on audiences preferences, then you can post for Facebook best practices, which visuals are important, but not the number one. Copy is also important, and you can have your calls to action, but then you can translate everything over onto Instagram as well as your secondary platform. And then I always get asked about like Twitter and TikTok, and we'll leave Pinterest and Snapchat to the side because they're not that popular at the moment for this sector. But Twitter is more conversational. So I would say that 99.9% of the people here, Twitter would never be your hero platform. But if your brand likes to microblog and chat on the fly, that would be a place for you to have it as a secondary or a third platform. And then TikTok is completely different than any social media marketing platform. And you have to look at it like that. Never replace Facebook or Instagram with TikTok. It's a completely different animal. It's meant for entertainment. It's not meant to sell. It's just meant to entertain your audiences and build your following. So you can see the 2 stars visually. Facebook and Instagram are number 1 for which platform you should focus on. All right, so it doesn't matter what no matter what your hero platform is, so whether it's Facebook or Instagram or X even or LinkedIn or whatever it is, depending on what industry or your brand, you must have a Google My Business. So especially for tourism, the tourism sector. So Google My Business, some people get confused, and it is confusing with the Google product. So one side of Google is your Google search, paid search. So like your AdWords, it's when people put money into Google to have your website show up to the right people when they're Googling your product or your service. That's not what we're talking about here. The other side of Google is the organic Google My Business side that allows you to post about, have a presence for your brand on Google that's completely free. But the way that you succeed with this platform is by optimizing it. And when I say optimize, all I mean is by putting effort into it and maintaining it, just like social media. It's very important. So this is like non-negotiable for any brand, but especially in the tourism sector, you need to have a Google My Business one. But by cross-posting your social media content onto your Google My Business, you're maintaining its action and you're maintaining its relevancy. And when you do that, the Google search engine algorithms reward your brand, because as you're posting your social media content to the Google My Business platform, they're learning more about you. They know what you have to offer. And then also when people visit your Google My Business platform, they see this content and they navigate it. So they're spending more time on your Google My Business listing versus your competitor who has no social media content on there. And when they're doing that, they're rewarding you because Google thinks it's a top quality place to send people. And then you just get the snowball effect of Google sending more and more people to your listing. So I'm going to go break down each of the platforms now. Now that you guys have a good idea of how they all kind of work together, and Facebook and Instagram and how Google My Business is separate, I'm going to go through each one on a deeper level and just talk about the usership and best practices for content, so that you can finally determine your own hero platform. So Facebook, most popular, highest usership. Generally, again, the champion or hero platform for most businesses. It's easy posting, and it's appropriate for virtually every brand. The audiences tend to be late millennials, so people like 35 plus, Gen X, and baby boomers. And so if your target audience is people within this age category, you definitely want to focus on Facebook as your number one. And then best practices for content. So real photos of humans. Okay, so number one like thing that if you don't take away anything from this session, because there's a lot of information, number one thing that's gonna like be like an aha moment for your brand as soon as you start doing it is posting real humans in your photos. So a good photo, for example, for a tourist destination is showing, a beautiful scene of what you have to offer, like whether it's like, an outdoor scene of your destination. Next level would be like, maybe someone like standing there, like polished and posed with a big smile on their face. But next level, to take your content over the top, would show a real human interacting somehow or using your tourist product or service in the photo to make it really interesting. If you can consider taking a photo and you think to yourself, does the person who's seeing this photo feel like they're in the room with me and they're genuinely entertained and I am including a human in an outdoor scene? Those key factors are going to take your content over the top, your engagement over the top. That's what people want to see, but also the algorithms favor it as well. Minimal branding is a must in 2024 and 2023. While you want to keep your vibe and your aesthetic consistent, so if you're using a filter, use the same one all the time, so that it's recognizably you. Gone are the days of like you need a graphic designer to add like branding elements and logos and all the things. Videos, so real style videos, super important, digestible, to the point, lots of movement. Also gone are the days of the long 1-minute commercials that show all the details and the beautiful cinematography that costs tens of thousands of dollars. People want to see the short, to the point, real raw video that's super entertaining. And this is thanks to the rise of TikTok. Our digestion habits and preferences have changed. Copy, you want to include a hook, value to your audience, a call to action, and a way to act. So these are Facebook best practices. And then be sure if you're interacting or collaborating with another brand or business, you want to tag them, or a community or place, tag them too. Best practice for posting. So everyone asks this, like, what's best practice for frequency? So remember, if just because you post on that day doesn't mean someone's going to see it on that day. The algorithms, while they don't give us a silver bullet, the more time somebody engages with a post, the more people it's going to diffuse to, and you get a snowball effect. But something posted on a Tuesday might get to a valuable customer by Thursday. And so for that reason, we don't need to post every single day. We want to think about this as quality over quantity. Planned, top quality posts that might live for weeks on end because they have high engagement are much better than daily posting just to have filler. And if we do have in the moment opportunities that we'd like to post, because that can happen as well, especially if like during busy tourism season, you put that content up on your stories, because keeping your story active as well daily, you'll be rewarded too. And it's meant for in the moment opportunities. They go away in 24 hours, and they're completely different algorithm than the regular content posts. And then, of course, a great tool on Facebook, especially if you have an event that's time bound, is the event tool. This is a super important tool, because anybody who identifies as like going or interested in going, this is going to show to their friends, and we know birds of a feather flock together, so they'll show interest. And then also we're getting notifications if we show interest in an event that the event is coming up. So it just increases attendance. And Facebook is also great for sharing content of others. And we're going to go through that in the engagement section. It's a big part of social media, and tagging other businesses and people in your content. So also let's go through Instagram on a deeper level. So Instagram partnered with Facebook. So what that means is, since the two brands combined to create Meta, You've probably heard of it. Instagram now has access to all the amazing tools that Facebook does with respect to reaching the right audiences organically. And the algorithms are very high quality. It's growing in usership, easy posting, and hashtags are huge on this one. So you want to include at least 3 hashtags: a broad hashtag, a niche hashtag, and a geo hashtag whenever possible on this brand. Not so necessary on Facebook, but definitely on here. Audiences tend to be early millennials or Gen Z, or older millennials who are female. So if you're in that area and your brand is highly aesthetic, lots of visually appealing things, this may be your hero platform. So visuals, real style video content is the top performing content of any content across social media. It'll give you the highest ROI. So again, those quick to the point, short videos that people want to watch over and over again, and posting it on the reel feature. Again, real humans and real products and real scenes. Be sure to include a human whenever possible. And best practice on Instagram is no branding. You can get away with a little branding on Facebook, not on this platform so much. And stories should be used for frequent in the moment content. So for daily posting as well. Copy needs to be super concise. It's not designed to sell products with a call to action or a website link. Not a lot of people are reading on Instagram, so you have to be concise and to the point. Best practice for posting at the moment is 2 posts per week. Remember, quality over quantity. We don't know when someone's going to see it, but we want it to matter when they do. And it's great for collaborating with other businesses as well. Okay, X or Twitter. It's very popular for Saskatchewan's egg industry. So another company that I work with is Egg Social by Wow Factor Media, which is a brand that is entirely focused on agribusiness. That's who our customer base is there. And we combine egg expertise with social media marketing expertise to provide better content for farmers who are the target audience. Twitter is popular for this group. But in my experience of all the different industries that we work for, it's low on the popularity for any other industry besides ag and politics. Best practices, not always visuals, not always necessary. It's conversational. So basically, if you want to chat with your audience and you've got a captive audience on X, you can talk to them on there and offer updates. All right, so Google My Business. We talked about this a little bit. No matter what your hero platform is, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or X, you also want to keep your Google My Business live so that you can be found organically. Your Facebook static content, so your photos is what we mean by that, can be directly mirrored onto your Google My Business. So anytime you post a photo and copy on Facebook, you want to also post that as an update on your Google My Business. And it'll tell Google your business is a customer focused and a great place to send people when they're Googling. So worksheet 1, you've been emailed this prior, and this is something that you can do after this session as you self-reflect, is to choose a hero platform. And this will be once you've chosen your hero platform, it'll be your guide on your content style so that you can optimize the things that you post on your hero platform and then cross post. So say your hero platform is Facebook, cross post to Instagram, cross post to Google My Business. Or if it's Instagram, cross post to Facebook, cross post to Google My Business. All right. So that leads us into our monthly, weekly, and daily planning checklist. So talked about at the beginning of the session where I'm 100% for simple training and training that you can take tonight and apply to your brand. I'm not here to make anything complicated. There's nothing effective about complicated training. So we've got monthly, weekly, and daily checklists, and you have these worksheets as well. And essentially, it's so easy. It's been designed so every month you guys can open your monthly checklist, spend the time you need, so like a few hours max, planning out your month. And then every week you open your weekly checklist, and you can spend, I think the weekly ones maybe take 1 to 2 hours planning your week. And then the daily planning checklist takes about 10 to 30 minutes. And then every month, week, and day, your anxiety of when am I going to post and what am I going to post and what am I going to do is taken away. And what you find is the level of consistency that's developed by using the monthly, weekly, and daily checklist leads to success. I think one of the biggest reasons that brands one of the biggest top reasons why brands hire Wow Factor Media and Egg Social to do their social media 100% for them is because they lack the ability to keep it consistent. And we know we have to keep it consistent because it's where customers are interacting with our brands. So this is the way for you guys to stay on top of it. And again, it's super freeing because you've got the peace of mind that you're not missing out on the opportunity of consistent social media marketing. All right, so the rest of this session will show you what to do and how to plan monthly, weekly, and daily to maximize your time and limited resources. All right, so you've been given worksheets to be able to plan on your own time. And right now I'll be providing an overview of each one, but you will not need to complete them during this 1 hour session. So again, you can go through the worksheets after. And if you need to refer back to having me there, you can watch the recordings again. All right, so monthly planning checklist. There are 2 key things on the monthly checklist. And again, designed to be easily integrated into your workday. I know you're all busy people. I know social media probably isn't the #1 thing, the only thing you have to do in your day. So it's been designed for people with limited resources and limited time. So #1 is setting your goal. And #2 is planning 2 posts a week based on your goal. All right, so let's talk about setting a goal. This is essential. Don't do anything on social media unless you have a goal. So what it'll do is it'll help you stay focused and it'll help you actually achieve success, but also it'll help your brain to not be like, what am I doing here? What should I post about next? Because every time you go to create content or every idea that you ever had, you can think to yourself, does this help me achieve my goal right now? And it'll help you stay on track. All right, so why do we need social media goals? I kind of just explained that, but it saves time and energy and stress by having a clear focus. So with limited resources, we got to save our time, energy, and stress. It'll help us focus on a goal so that we can make our content consistent. So we talked about like gone are the days of over branding your content. In order to get customers to recognize our content time over time, we need to make it consistent. And this is a way we can do that. It's more recognizable and influential when it's consistent. A goal gives you a purpose. So we all need like a reason why we were inspired to put efforts into our social media. We've got a goal. We've got a reason to do it every day. And at the end of the month or quarter, we can measure our efforts, which is super important, right? Like we want to know that what we're doing is making an impact on our brand. In 2020, sorry, I got to update this, but in 2024, it's no different. Social media should be treated as a core function of your organization. It's no longer optional. And this isn't because I just think social media is awesome. It is. But it's because it's where customers are spending the majority of our time. The average Canadian spends 2.5 hours on social media marketing every single day. Social media every single day. So what does that mean? Like that's most of our spare time spent on social media. So we got to be there for them to be entertained, delighted, so that they want to choose to use our brand or choose to use our products and services when the time comes. Gone are the days of treating social media as an afterthought. And with limited resources, it always happens where we're like, at the end of the day, oh my gosh, we didn't post anything. We better post something random or promotional because we got to stay on top of it. Gone are the days of doing that. We have to treat it as a core function of our overall business strategy, not even our marketing strategy, because of our clients. It all goes back to the customer. The power is all in the customer's hands in social media right now. So be sure that we have to be sure we're present for them in the best way possible. And when we have goals, we can easily create content in social media marketing that has a purpose and that gets in front of our audiences in a consistent manner. All right, so we got to keep it simple still with the goal. So you want to ask yourself 2 key things. And I always like to frame the goal at a month at a time, just because like it's good for business cycle to be like, okay, this month we're focusing on selling product X, or this month we're focusing on building our followers, or this month we're focusing on more visits to this specific destination. And then next month it can be the exact same goal, but you just need time to reflect in case you've shifted a little bit. If your business is super fast paced, maybe you've only got like 3 months of the year where you've got it's go time to sell your tourist destination. Maybe your goal changes weekly. Maybe it changes bi-weekly. Maybe it's the whole same goal for the whole summer season, depending on what your brand is. But the point is we have to segment it into a time-bound, measurable box, I guess. So your worksheet says monthly, so that's a great place to start. But again, you got to think critically on behalf of your own brand if you need to make it maybe bi-weekly, but for now, start with monthly. With all the customers we deal with tourist customers, tourism customers. I mean, anybody across any industry we work with at Wow Factor Media, and the monthly goal setting works really well for our tourism industry and all of our clients actually. So the number one thing you want to ask yourself is, what do you want your audiences to do as a result of seeing your content? So what action do you want them to take? Buy more ticket, buy a ticket, visit, visit your website, follow your brand, whatever it is, you want to write down the action that you want them to do. And be specific. Don't say I want all those things. Don't say I want to sell every single product offering that I have. Be very, very specific and in the moment, because this is how you're going to be like your content's going to get good and people are actually going to act upon it and do the exact thing you want them to do. When we try to be everything to everybody, as the saying goes, we're nothing to anybody. So be specific, as challenging as it is. And then how do you want people to feel about your brand? So two key pieces to the goal, because it's not enough anymore to just be like, I want my audience to buy product X during the month of July. We also have to figure out how we are going to tell our brand story and introduce our brand on a more human level to our customers and audiences on social media marketing. Remember this, people want to deal with brands that they know, like, and trust. That's it. In a sea of competition, when they have many different choices between your product or service and somebody else's, they deal with the brands they know, like, and trust. And so that's why it's important to ask yourself how you want your audiences to feel as a result of seeing your content as well. And then creating your content in a way that facilitates that goal. So if you're like, I want them to think that we're fun, great, write it down and be sure your content is really fun. I want them to trust us. Great, write it down and be sure your content portrays a trustworthy, a trustworthy attitude on behalf of your brand. All right, so that's step one, planning your goal every month. What do you want your customers to do? How you want your customers to feel as a result of seeing your content. Step two is planning your content pillars. So content pillars are essentially, well, we'll go into it. It's the subjects, I guess, that you want to write about on your social media marketing. So if you combine what your brand cares about and what your audience cares about, that slaps together to create a content pillar. And there's lots of cool examples. So obviously showing what you have to offer, like product or service, that's a content pillar for sure. Never be afraid to ask for the business either on social media marketing. Some brands move away from, oh, we don't want to be too salesy. But at the end of the day, if you're doing it right, when you ask for the business, people want to support you and buy. So don't forget to talk about your products and services as a pillar. But here are some other general content pillars for your brand to consider. So in the community, so how does your brand fit within the community that you operate? Do you support other initiatives, making donations, or, you align yourself with other brands, you collab, like things like that. The people behind your brand, how they fit into the community. Next, you want a pillar could be humanizing your company. So this one's huge. You always want to show, whenever possible, your real customers, your real people behind your brand. So your staff, your owners, your founders, and really let people know the human side of your brand. Industry leadership. So, do you offer something in your industry that's second to none? That might be a good pillar as well. Products and services, of course, we need to include that one. And then also another one, and this goes under the humanizing your company pillar, is behind the scenes, making people feel like they're in the living room or in the room with your brand, so that they know, like, and trust you. All right, so we're going to dive a little bit deeper on each pillar. And as you're listening to me, just kind of think about, like, the different things that you can do for your brand, for each pillar. Because the point of writing down the pillars and learning about the pillars is, when you get to your weekly planning checklist, you might be like, oh, where do I start? I know my goal. I know what I want my customers to do and feel, but I just don't know how to create content for it. So by taking the next step and writing down your pillars, you've all of a sudden got a subject. And then when you have your subject, then ideas start to generate in it. And this digestible step-by-step process is really helpful for people with limited resources. So humanizing your company, featuring teams and their stories, highlight office life and culture, show you the history, experience, and expertise, and tell more about your company. Industry leadership, offering tips, providing industry knowledge and updates, feature success with clients, testimonials, speak about your track record. And on that note, testimonials are a huge way, and reviews, Google reviews are a huge way to earn trust and loyalty from new customers. So never be afraid to feature those products and services. So showing offers and promotions, unique features. Even if the features seem mundane or boring to you guys, customers might find them interesting. So never miss an opportunity to show that. And then feature vendor and partnerships. And then in the community, you can celebrate your customers, highlight sponsorships or partnerships, show your organization attending, participating in local events, and then showing community pride. So now that you understand your goals and you see the pillar options, every month you can start with your monthly checklist and write down your goals and your pillars. All right, so step one, you want to write down your goals, and step two, worksheet 2, is write out which pillars we want to focus on each week. So at the beginning of the week on your worksheet 2, you're just writing down, okay, pillar 1, products and services, and pillar 2, behind the scenes, humanizing my company. And then when you go to create that content, you've got a theme or a subject that you can follow easily. This is just a little glance of like what the worksheets look like. So on the left here, it's your goal. On the right here, post pillar 1, post pillar 2 for week 1, week 2, post pillar 1, post pillar 2. So you just go through and write down the post pillars that you want to focus on for each week. And that's it. No one's asking you to create content at this point. You're just writing down the pillars you want to focus on. All right, so that's your monthly planning checklist. Now let's move into your weekly planning checklist. So you want to aim to do 2 posts per week. We talked about best practice on Facebook and Instagram is 2 to 3. We want to commit to 2 posts per week. And this is for consistency. If a third one pops up and an opportunity happens, that's great. But again, we want to free our minds. We want to, with limited resources, we want to commit to a solid number and focus on that number and move on. So what we're going to do in the weekly to-do list is planning your post types. So in the monthly, you saw it in this checklist. We wrote down all the weeks are all there, and we're just writing down their pillars. That's it, nothing else. But in the monthly, we're now going to go deeper and write down our content type. So are we going to do a photo or a reel? And we're going to capture our imagery, so our photos and our reels, and then we're going to write copy for this week's post. So you're doing a week at a time, 1 week at a time only. And this is by design, because the more in the moment social media is, the higher the relevancy, the more engagement we get. All right, so step 1, planning your post types. There are 3 key types of content, and each are different. So your regular posts, your stories, and your reels. All right, so you want to plan your post types in step 1. Let's talk about regular posts. So I'm going to take a deep, I know I'm running out of time here. So I'm just going to take a deep dive on each of these posts, and hopefully I'm not talking too fast, but it's important to know the differentiators of each one. All right, so regular posts, regular content that goes on your timeline, your grid. It's a photo or a video, must include a visual copy. You've all seen that before. I'm sure everybody's even created that before, but this is a regular post. Reels are different, completely different algorithm. The highest ROI of any form of content on social media with respect to engagement and reach. So an essential in all social media marketing. So one of your content types could be reels. So you can post these on Facebook and Instagram. They show to more people when posted to the reels feature. When you become more comfortable with your 2 regular posts, you'll also want to consider including a weekly reel into your platform. So for sure you want 2 posts, okay? And they can be regular content posts if you want. As you get more comfortable though, really start to consider reels. They are harder, but once you get into them and once you learn how to do them, they do really help with the algorithms. And then stories, you can post these as much as you want. Strive for once a week if you can. But these aren't planned. These aren't going on your checklist. They're not going on your weekly or monthly plan. These are just things that happen in the moment that you post as they happen. All right, so worksheet 3, I believe it is. You want to draw down your post type on your worksheet for planning purposes, and then you want to repeat this for both post 1 and post 2. We're doing 1 week at a time, remember. So step 1 is plan your post for the first week of the month. Post 1, so you write down your posting date, so it's the week upcoming. Post pillar, you pull this from your monthly plan, already done for you. Post type, do you want a video or an image? Simple as that. And then you leave it, write down video or image. Post imagery plan. So if you wrote down a video or an image, just write down what you're going to do. On Monday, I'm going to go out and get a video of our brand new something that's happening outside. Or I'm going to go grab a photo of Jill, who works in accounting, because everybody loves her and I'm going to feature her on our social media, whatever that is. And then you go and grab that photo and video at the time you need to, and then you write down your post copy. So your post copy is basically explaining your video or imagery. Your best practices for Facebook are a hook, value, call to action, and a way to act. Take out the call to action, way to act for Instagram, and add your hashtags. So here in your weekly to-do list, you're basically planning your entire post, and you're going to repeat that step twice. All right, so let's talk about capturing photos and videos. We're going to go through photos and video best practice. Now, those of you who attended workshop 1, you're going to see there's going to be like a ton of really deep information on this, and we don't have enough time here to go through this one. So rewatch workshop 1 best practices for the most effective photos and videos. Now, remember, you follow the best practices. It's what people want to see. You're going to get more engagement. You're going to get more reach. And we know that engagement and reach leads to bottom line growth. So be sure to follow that. But on a high level, I'm just going to go quickly through it. Humans, happy people in action whenever possible with an outdoor background are the most effective content types. So always keep that in mind. And again, workshop 1 takes a deep dive on this. All right. So, again, now that we know our best practices, we're inserting our photo and video that we've taken here, and our weekly to-do list is done. Let's talk about content design basics before we go on to the next section. So we talked about how photo and video, real people in action, that's really all you need. If you've got a great photo, real people outside in action, you don't need highly designed and polished posts. But the thing to remember as well is that high def photos and videos are a must. We can't just put any photo and video out there to replace design. We need high def. Also, if you are needing to add logos or are wanting to brand, a great program is Canva. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the program. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. You can take a really great photo like this one on the right, and add your copy and add your logo, and it can look like a professional designer did it. So that's the thing with limited resources. We don't have access to graphic designers with limited resources. I mean, but gone are the days that we need a professional graphic designer on staff to create really great stuff, because photos and videos that are real perform best. So we don't even need graphic design. But if we want minimal design by adding a logo tastefully and adding really great copy tastefully, like the example on the right, we can use easy, free tools like Canva to do it. So if you've heard of it, if you haven't heard of it, check it out, download it for your brand. If you have heard of it and you do use it, the one thing I want to caution you of is it can get really fun because there's lots of bells and whistles, and you can add lots of stuff, and it can start to look like trash real fast. So just keep things minimal as possible. Minimal copy, minimal branding, just like the example on the right here. All right, so let's take a deeper dive on writing out your copy. I talked about best practices, but it's worth it to emphasize it here so that you guys can go back in the video and watch the training to kind of write down the best copy possible. So number 1 is a hook. The key thing to remember here when you're writing your copy with a hook is if you get your hook wrong, nobody's watching, nobody's even reading your copy. Nobody wants to read a novel. Nobody wants to read anything that's boring. So your hook is everything. It's your first sentence. It's 3 to 5 words of capturing people's attention. So you can say, did you know, or single out your audience like, hey moms, are you looking for a great place to bring the kids? That's an example of a good hook where, you know, the audience is stopping their scroll and reading on. Value to your audience. Tell your audience what's in it for them by interacting with your post. Simple. And then a call to action with a way to act. So book online, visit us today. Here's our address. Here's our phone number. And then hashtags if needed. And then Instagram, the only tweak to make it easy for you to cross post, because remember what we talked about, we need to cross post on both platforms. While we have a hero, they're both equally, they're not equal, but they're both valuable to brands. So I do recommend that everybody here has a Facebook and an Instagram. Just remove your call to action and your way to act. Just your hook is like a newspaper headline, just to drive it home. Extra, read all about it is the original hook. And remember, if nobody's reading the hook, nobody's reading anything else. So ask a question, single out your audience, or educate your audiences in some way. And then just to drive it all home, we talked about you want to use Facebook and Instagram, but you want to follow the best practice of the one that matters most to your brand as a priority. So if it's Instagram, take away the call to action. If it's Facebook, leave it. All right. Okay, so then in your weekly to-do list, you've got your copy best practices, you insert your copy here, maximum 3 to 5 sentences, and then your post is planned. So we went through your imagery best practices, your photo video best practices, and then you just copy best practices, you write it in here. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you'll get with it. Like you'll remember that it's hook, value, call to action, hashtags, and every time you go to do it, you'll write all 4 elements down. But you may need to watch the session again to refresh your memory. All right, so step 1, write down your post types, photo or video. Step 2, your imagery, get your imagery and videos. Step 3, write your copy. 3 easy steps weekly, and you're going to repeat it twice. Designed to feel super simple. Just those 3 things done twice for 2 content pieces every single week. All right, now we're going into our daily planning checklist. Daily maintenance on social media marketing is very important. So the to-do list on the daily checklist is post on the days you planned. So, you know, that's not necessarily every single day. So say you're like, I'm going to post on Tuesday and Saturday. You have to complete that on the Tuesday and Saturday, but that top one, you don't need to do every single day, obviously. But the next 2 you should do every day while you're working. So check your notifications and responding and looking around to find trends and to comment on other people's content. So the more time you spend on social media, the better you're going to get at it. It's just the way it works. You're going to notice trends, you're going to notice what people are engaging with, and you're going to get ideas from that for your own brand. All right, so let's talk about the steps broken down. So step 1, you want to post on the days that you planned. You can pre-plan this. So talked about always cross-posting on Facebook and Instagram. On Meta, you can put in your copy, you can put in your imagery, and you can schedule it. So say you're like, I want to post on Tuesday and Saturday. You can get it all done in one shot if you want, and schedule for the Tuesday, and then put your other one up and schedule it for the Saturday. This really helps save time when you have limited resources. You just need to go to business.facebook.com to do this, to cross-post. Next, you want to update your Google My Business. So you just go to google.com/mybusiness and hit add an update here, bottom right. And when you hit add an update, it's the same kind of posting as Facebook. You just add your photo, you add your copy, and you hit post. You can't post in advance on here, so you'd have to log in on that day, and then you just hit add an update. But again, super important for search engine optimization. Okay, step 2, checking notifications and responding. This is something that you should log in for about 5 to 10 minutes every single day. And it's because it's where our audiences are living. So just a little bit deeper on that. Before social media, somebody walks into your brick and mortar store or somebody phones your brand, you'd never ignore them if they walked in, and you'd never ignore them if the phone was ringing off the hook. You're present, you're answering the phone, you're greeting them when they come into your business. This is exactly the way you have to look at social media and checking notifications and responding. It's a huge customer service tool. Customers expect us to be there to answer their questions in order for them to use our products and services. So be sure you're checking those notifications and responding daily. The easiest way to do this is to have it on your phone. So put the Meta app on your phone and you'll see the notifications come up. But be sure that you're present for your customers. It's basically a leads, and you never want to let a lead go as a business. And then step 3, you want to socialize on social media. So what we mean by that is you want to look around to find trends and comment on the content of others. So it's not just, social media is not a one-way street. It's not just about, okay, I've got a really great goal and I've got really great photos and videos and I've done my copy and I've posted on my Facebook and Instagram and Google My Business, and now I'm good and I don't need to touch it anymore. What you also need to do is have an active platform. So in addition to responding to your customers, and by the way, not responding to your customers and not responding to notifications, the algorithms will penalize you. But on the positive side of it, if you do, the algorithms will reward you by putting you in front of more and more people and increasing your organic reach. And then also with respect to step 3, you looking around and, you know, liking other people's posts and commenting on other people's content shows Facebook and Instagram that you're an active brand that's invested in a digital community. And when you do that, the algorithms also favor your brand because you're being shown to more people. So when you comment on the content of another brand, their followers are likely to see that. And they're likely to think, oh, I should follow your brand as well. So you just get like the snowball effect of organic reach and engagement that's so valuable. All right. Building a community around your brand. So not just posting, but also giving back by having that customer service and then, you know, engaging with other brands while you're online is one of the best ways to earn loyalty, referrals to friends and family, and bottom line growth. So people believe their friends and their family when they like a brand or they say this brand is something that they use or that they like. People believe that kind of stuff from friends and family way more than when it comes from your business. So when you do that engaging and people are sharing your content and you're commenting on other people's posts, you're building that community around your brand. And it all goes back to the main theme of the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So when he says you can make more friends in 2 minutes by being interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. So always remember that about social media. Yes, we want to get people to know what we have. Yes, we want them to be interested in us and follow us and engage with us. But when we go back and we give this to other brands and we give this back to our customers with solid customer service on social media, it comes back tenfold. All right, so daily to-do list. You want to log into your Facebook and Instagram daily, check your notifications, look around for trends, and use it as a customer service tool. And yeah, I just said this, but you want to use it as a place for customer service and always engage with others by responding to comments and DMs in as real time as possible. I mean, if somebody sends you something at 11:30 on a Sunday night, getting to it the Monday the next morning is probably fine. I mean, just remember your business hours. Never miss an opportunity during regular business hours. Okay, so basically let's sum it up. We've got step 1, post on the days you plan for. This is your daily checklist. Step 2, check your notifications. Step 3, engage. Super simple. Checking notifications and engaging 10 to 20 minutes every single day. Okay, so we've got our monthly, weekly checklist laid out. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deliverables in total, 2 per month, 3 per week, and 3 per day. Designed to feel easy, digestible, and integrate into your workday with limited resources. Thank you, everybody. I know it's a lot of information, but if you follow these worksheets and follow these steps into your everyday work life, you're going to see lots of success on social media just for consistency. So now it's time for questions.
Perfect. Yeah, we have got a number of them. So
Awesome.
first one, as a municipality, I share a lot of posts from other community organizations. I search their Facebook pages and share to our page.
Yeah.
I also use Meta to cross-post my posts. However, that does not work when sharing other posts. Is there a way to share shared posts to Insta?
No, but okay, so great question. You can share on Facebook like other people's content onto your own platform, but what she's asking is, can I also share other people's content on Instagram? The answer is kind of uncomfortable. You can share it up to your story, but it has to be original content from Instagram. So say another brand has a post on Instagram and you really want to support them by sharing it, you can go ahead and pop it up in your story, but you can't put it on your own grid. Another way to support that in addition to sharing it up on your stories, just by like making a nice comment on the post, because by you commenting on that, your followers are likely to see it as well. So it's a really effective way to help their engagement. Good question.
Perfect. Next one. How to handle Facebook page that has to serve multiple functions. For example, municipal services information, tourism, business promotions, etc.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing is you have a lot of people to please, so there's like a lot of goals happening there. Um, so it's a tough, so if your job is like 100% social media marketing, what I would do is plan for each of those departments a post a week, and segment it even more, like be like, okay, my goal for this department is this, my goal for this department is this, my goal for this department is this, and like every month go through the exercise for every single department. And that would be like something that would be relatively reasonable if social media marketing was like your only job. If it's not though, like say, you also have other things to do, and maybe you got 2 hours a day to do social media. I would just say to your boss, like, okay, I need to prioritize my time. What's most important to you? And we're saying this to our customers all the time. Like, yeah, it would be nice to achieve 10 different goals, but what are the ones that matter most to you? And they'll quickly be able to tell you, okay, like I need to focus on this right now, and shift again next month and focus on a different department. Good question, but yeah, it just all depends on the amount of time you have to invest.
Perfect. Sometimes when you are posting to multiple things, they tend to get lost and have minimal views. How is this prevented?
I think what you're saying is like sometimes when you post to like Facebook and Instagram and then like Twitter and Google My Business. So I think what they're saying is like, if I have a piece of content and I put it out across the web on like so many different social media marketing platforms, I don't even know if anyone's even seen it. And you're exactly right. And that's exactly why you need to figure out your hero platform and that be your focus. Fine to post on all the other platforms, go ahead, but we're not worried so much about those ones because our customers are living on our hero platform. So when you do cross post, just be sure that when you're checking your key performance indicators or your engagement, and if it was effective, that you're focused mainly on like your hero platform. And say that's Facebook. If it didn't perform well on Facebook, we don't care if it didn't perform well on any other platforms. We know we have to pivot and improve on Facebook and create something better next time that the audience will like.
Good. This next one deals with Instagram. Why no call to action on Instagram? I've seen some accounts using them and many more using a more subtle form of them.
Yeah, great question. Instagram flat out came out in 2023 and said calls to action will hinder your organic reach. And so that's why we like to, and so the other thing to remember too is like these are all best practices based on experience, but also general rules of thumb. There are cases where, you can test around and be like, if I had a call to action on Instagram and it didn't really harm what I did and I still got as much engagement, test it and go for it. But with limited resources, we don't always have the time to test and make sure that we're following what our audiences want. So as a general rule and best practice, no calls to action because Instagram has said they penalize for them. But if you want to test them out and they work well for you, by all means, like you can go ahead and do that.
Perfect. Next one is a two-part question. So first part is how to get more photos of real humans.
Mhm.
And second one is how do you feel about using a newsletter platform to reach a wider audience?
Yeah, okay. So how to get more photos from real humans. So it just depends on your brand. Like, for example, my company, Wow Factor Media, it's kind of hard, right? Like we don't visit our clients every day. We've only got so many staff. So like nobody wants to see them every single time, time after time. But once you have that lens where you're like, okay, I need to get more people. Maybe you're now thinking like the minute a customer walks in, maybe you want to ask them if they wouldn't mind being in a photo, or maybe you have like 5 customers who are absolutely in love with what you're doing and you have no problem phoning them up and asking them if they'd come and take some photos. Or maybe it's your aunt who looks exactly like your target audience and she wouldn't mind coming and taking some photos. It could be staff members. It is a challenge. So that's the thing with great content is it's never easy, But if you always try to push yourself to get the humans and think of different creative ways to get humans, you'll be more successful. Great question though, because yeah, it's not easy. And then newsletters, email marketing, just quickly, is emerging as a truly effective form of marketing. A few years ago wasn't. The tools weren't great. Everything was going to spam. Nobody cared. Now the tools are getting really good. So and when done right, email marketing is actually super effective because the people who have opted into your emails are either past customers or super fans of your brand. They really want to hear from you. So few best practices on that. I know we're running out of time. Humanize it. Make sure it feels like the email is coming from a human from your organization. Quality, you don't want to spam them. Something has to be in it for your audience to send an email. So whether it's like a fun update or a promotion or something cool happening, you don't want to just spam them with sales tactics. And then turn on your reply feature. Use it as a customer service tool. So people can, as small businesses, we have the advantage of like allowing people to email us back if they're interested in what we have to sell. So those are the top 3 that I'd recommend there.
Okay. I currently manage 16 plus accounts per platform for each of our hotel locations and
Holy.
brands. Would you recommend consolidating these under main brand accounts?
Is this a hotel chain?
Yes, yeah.
No, because the customers for each one are different. So while you will have crossover content, like so maybe one hotel has the same piece of content as another hotel because like you both offer laundry services. I don't know, for example, like something that, you know, it's not a big deal if you cross post or have the same ideas. But the key to ultra success on social media is ultra relevancy and humanizing brands. So cross posting or dumping a bunch of stuff across all hotels isn't effective for like getting that like really relevant custom stuff for each brand. 16 though, that's a big job. I would go through like the monthly, weekly, daily checklist for each one and maybe like your pillar per week. So maybe during your weeks you have one post that's consistent across all brands. Maybe it's about the parent company, but then your secondary post for each individual hotel is unique to that hotel. That might save you some time where you're like, okay, once a week, it's gonna be parent company stuff. But they should all have their own platforms just because they all have different customers. Great question. You've definitely got a big job there.
Perfect. Next one, my Meta Business Suite has been auto-deleting my copy to Instagram, but not to Facebook, and says it's because of community guidelines. That is limiting how much I can do per day. I run socials for 7 clients and it's becoming a problem. Is this normal or what's going on?
It's not normal. Like, are they controversial brands like gambling, alcohol, finance? I would ask that question because they're very but they wouldn't be because you're in the tourism sector. I've never heard of that before. I think maybe not cross posting, so like physically going into each platform, Facebook and Instagram separate and posting separately might help them. I'm not sure. It's hard for me to say unless I know what you're doing, but yeah, I haven't seen.
Follow-up, it's for music shows.
Honestly, I don't know unless I took like a deep dive of exactly what you're talking about. I'm sorry, I can't help with that one. Sorry, it's just too specific. I haven't, but to your point, I haven't seen that around here. Sorry, I can't.
Should your logo be on every post?
Good question, and the answer is no. And if you do have it on your post, be sure it's tasteful and consistent on placement. People should recognize your brand more on like your visuals and like your tone versus your logo. So keep it to a minimum.
Perfect. Does Facebook penalize using external social media management software by decreasing reach?
Great question. I used to ask this all the time. And in our experience, the answer is no.
Okay. And then we send a once a month newsletter and try not to be too salesy, but always lose a couple subscribers per monthly email. Is this normal?
Um, yeah, it's hard to say like how you acquired them in the first place. So to be proactive on that answer is like when you ask people to be part of your email list, be sure it's purposeful, be sure they know what they're getting into, and then always just try your best to provide them with value. You're gonna get a few unsubscribers, but the thing you want to watch is net. So if your net is always higher, like your subscribers is always higher than the people who unsubscribe, that means you're doing a good job of getting to the right audiences. But if you're constantly losing and never gaining, then you might want to take a look at your strategy again.
What are the best practices for tagging sponsors and partners per post on each platform?
Um, mm, there's really no best practices, like as long as that partner or sponsor is like relevant to the post, it's fine to tag them.
Perfect. I think those were some really, really good questions from
Yeah,
everyone. I
awesome
know
work.
again that we have gone over, but thank you all for staying on for those that are with us. Just kind of as we wrap up, I know one thing that Ashley has talked about is Facebook and kind of using that as maybe your hero platform. We do have tomorrow a 3-hour workshop on advanced Facebook and how to use it for marketing and leveraging. So if you haven't signed up for the workshop, please do. We have lots of spots available. It's from 9:30 to 12:30. So again, it's just another tool that you guys can use. Another one, again, that Ashley talked about was creating reels. We have another workshop again in February 15th, 9 o'clock. Again, a 3-hour workshop on how to create reels and how to make, really good social media. Um, so
That's awesome.
there's more content coming out all the time from us here.